Hello, my name is Bruno, and this is Football Worldwide. Hey guys, as Jonathan would say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us in the world. Welcome to Football Worldwide. My name is Bruno, and after a nice long hiatus due to life getting in the way of things, we are back at European Weekly Catch Up, and so much has changed since the last time we have spoken, and there is so much more to discuss. Guys, before we get into it, here's some formalities. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Football Worldwide. We are also doing a cross stream with Interworldwide, so make sure you do give them a like as well if you support that beloved club. So, guys, as we do, we're not going to do the same traditional approach that we've done as of late, in the sense of we'll go through each of the matches and all of that. We're just going to have a nice discussion. Love to get all of you guys involved, talking all the leagues. So let's get straight into it with the first league, the first cab off the rank, the EPL. So last time, I believe it was Manchester City who were up 12 points in the Premier League, and so much has changed since then. They currently lead the league on 63 points with Liverpool 6 points behind them on 57 with a game in hand. And Chelsea has just dropped right off to 50 points in third. But COVID and international fixtures have played a massive part when it comes to the Premier League, because we have started to see games getting missed, not being played. You know, Manchester City, they've played the most in the league with 26 with a couple of other teams. But then you go down to Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal, who've only played 23 fixtures. So you can see there is still 3 fixtures roughly. So that's 9 points, and 9 points can change the entire scope. So what is happening in the Premier League? We have seen a slight and subtle decline in Manchester City as of late. And when I say as of late, Mario Galliano has joined us in the chat. How are you, mate? Good to see you. It's good to be back on camera. Yes, Bruno Worldwide. Let me know if you want to jump in the video, because it would be good to chat to you in regards to the Serie A. But yes, so Manchester City, they have had the double pulled on them. And not many teams have pulled the double on Manchester City in a season, when they lost 3-2 to Spurs, Antonio Conte's Spurs. And last time I checked, Antonio Conte currently holds the record against Pep Guardiola with 3 wins to 2 losses. So it is quite interesting in that front. But then you have Liverpool, who have had this beautiful surge up the ladder as of late. As their last loss was to Leicester on the 29th of December. So it is quite interesting to see how much they have improved, and they did lose a fair few players when it came to the African Cup of Nations, which has impacted them. And it's phenomenal to see how everything's just changed in the space of a month, 2 months. Everything's changed in the Premier League, and it is just one of those things that it's why we love football. Simple as that. And when you really look at the whole scope of things, you want to look at this Premier League as not a one-horse race, which we've seen as of late. And Liverpool are really taking it to them. And what's interesting is, if they win their catch-up game, they play Manchester City. So that could be a title-determining fixture on their end. So that's that. Manchester United, they've been the talk a lot, mainly because of their team, their main focus on Cristiano Ronaldo not performing as per usual. But they haven't lost a fixture in the Premier League since they lost to Wolves 1-0. So they have picked it up, but they've had a couple of scrappy draws against Southampton and Burnley as of late, where they've really started to show their character and the Manchester United we have all grown up to see. So they are making a title Premier League. I wouldn't say title press, but they are making a Champions League press. They're currently 4 points clear of West Ham, but then you have Arsenal, who are also 4 points behind, and Tottenham, who are 7 points behind, that have three games in hand. So it can change the scope of the Premier League straight off the bat. I do have Mario on standby here, but I can't seem to see his videos. So if you can fix that up, there we go. I can see his videos quite. There we go. So I will bring Mario in once we get to the Serie A. We just do have a quick recap of the bottom of the table because it has changed slightly. Norwich in last, equal points with Burnley on 17, and Watford are 1 point ahead of them on 18. Newcastle has evaded the relegation zone, and they're on 22 points, so 4 points clear. But what I really want to highlight when it comes to Newcastle, they drew with Manchester United. They got knocked out of the FA Cup. They drew with Watford. Then they've beaten Leeds, Everton, and Aston Villa, and drew with West Ham. So they have picked up the slack when it comes to that big PIF takeover and their summer transfers, and it really shows on the outset. So I'm sure once Jonathan does get back onto the stream, we'll start talking to him about where he thinks that's coming, and we do have a couple of special guests that I will have lined up. I am confirming, but let's move on. We will move on to the next league, the Serie A. And this is where our beloved friend Mario Galliano joins the stream. How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm having a struggling weekend. Everything
Yeah.
sucks. Nothing makes sense. Um, Napoli suck. Inter suck. Milan suck. Nobody wants to win the league.
Look, just to give the guys a bit of context here, in the Serie A this weekend, the top six teams all dropped points. So, um, you know, first cab off the rank was Juventus Torino, the derby. It was 1-1 on that front, and it was okay. We what was it? Okay, you can justify that result to an extent because it's a derby. You know when you come for a derby, you're playing the best of the best. But something that has not happened since I believe 2016, first place AC Milan dropped points to last place Salernitana, which was a 2-2 draw, and I don't know if you call it a lucky 2-2 draw, but it was a comeback. They were down 2-1 with 15 minutes to go, and they got the equalizer through Rebic. Then you had Roma, Hellas Verona sharing the points there. Fiorentina upset Atalanta, winning 1-0. Inter were upset by Sassuolo, losing 2-0. Udinese Lazio shared the spoils in 1-0 draw, and then Napoli Cagliari shared the spoils in a 1-0 draw. So it was anyone's for the taking. No one decided to step up to the plate and make their move in the top six, to the Champions League spot, into first place. Mario, let me ask you, Inter's game in hand, it's becoming more and more crucial, isn't it?
It's 2 points difference right now, isn't it?
Yep.
That win puts us in first place with Bologna. Is it guaranteed win at this point? No, nothing's guaranteed. Like we want to say, oh, we need Milan to lose, we need Napoli to lose, we need Juve to lose, we need Atalanta. You can say all this stuff, but it really comes down to we need to win all our games. We need to beat the teams that we need to beat. Simple as that. We haven't won a game in 4 outings now. I think it is our last four. Their best result was a tie against Napoli, which I'll take it. I mean, Napoli's been a phenomenal team when they're at full strength. So that game I don't hate, but the other ones around it, Sassuolo, uh,
Liverpool.
it's a Sassuolo was we always struggle with them, and they've taken points off of every top team. So I don't hate that as much as I should, because you have to take that game with context. Sassuolo are a strong team on their day. You know, they're one of those teams that they show up in the big games, but they can't figure it out on a full level. Then Liverpool 2-0 loss, heartbreak. We should have won that game. We scored one, different story. They don't score 2 goals, I don't think. We beat Roma in the Coppa Italia, whatever. They stink. We lost to Milan in a derby, big game, and we beat Venezia and Empoli. So, I mean, if for an Inter perspective, you just gotta be consistent. Consistency wins you the championship, not the derby wins, not the win against Juve, not Juve losing, not Napoli losing. That means nothing. You have to win your games.
Yeah. So let me throw this to you. Inter have played four out of the top 6 teams, and they've only got Juventus and Roma to face for the rest of the season.
And
Does
Fiorentina.
that? Pardon?
And Fiorentina.
And Fiorentina, I think they're fifth.
They're like
They're
six.
seventh.
They're like sixth or seventh, but they're another team that they're gonna give you trouble.
So just in comparison to Milan, who have to play Napoli, I believe, next match day or the following match day, Juventus, Lazio, Atalanta, who have tougher runs home, do you think Inter can gather some momentum? Because I think a lot of the Inter fans and a lot of the pundits have come to the agreement that traveling to Anfield and overturning a 2-0 result is a tough ask. And a lot of people are saying, well, we've got the domestic league, which we can really focus on. We've got the Coppa Italia, which they can really focus on. But the fixture list really favors Inter this time of the year. Are we going to see a 2015, 16, 17-esque Inter where they start dropping points to these lower teams?
I don't think so. I think we still have a really good team, if not the best team in Italy. I think we bounced back against Genoa in a statement game, I guess you could say, because we've looked like shit lately. And Genoa is the perfect team to just beat up, get your confidence back. Maybe we see Lautaro finally score after, I don't even know, 30 shots on goal, or 30 shots taken rather. And then you got Milan Coppa Italia semifinal, then Salernitana. They've been a weird team because they've figured their stuff out since the transfer window, and they're scraping by. They're scraping results. And then you have the Liverpool game. I still think it's not completely out of the water to come back and win 3-0. We've seen anybody do it. I mean, Liverpool looked very beatable away. Sure, you could say they weren't full strength, whatever excuses you want to say, but for what it was worth for the team they had, they looked beatable, and they had most of their starters, and we frustrated the hell out of them. Then Torino, shitty team. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. And then it becomes Fiorentina, Juve. That's where, and Verona after. So it's like, it's a hill right now. I wouldn't say it's easy. I wouldn't say it's favorable right now. It's kind of up and down. Every team plays the same teams. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter where. Just win the freaking games. That's all it comes down to. You beat Juve, great. Beat Verona. Beat Fiorentina. Beat Torino. Beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And you can drop the point against Juve. Fine, you take a draw. Okay, but then you have to beat Fiorentina, you have to beat Spezia, you have to beat Milan, you have to beat Roma, you have to beat everybody that comes your way, and this team is capable of it.
Yeah, so I got 2 points. Everyone underestimated Fiorentina as of late. They thinking they're a toothless tiger. Now they're missing Vlahovic. Some newspapers in Italy are reporting that Vlahovic was a bit of a nuance, a cancer in the dressing room. His ego grew too much. So I'm sure he fits into the Juventus squad quite well on that sense. But another fun fact, you brought up Martinez. Exactly a year ago today, he scored the double against AC Milan in the derby, in the return leg, which propelled Inter to the top of the table in their title-winning run. So maybe it's this time of year that he starts to pick up his game, but this time last year he was on 13 Serie A goals already. AC Milan. Do you see them holding their position? Do you see them? Do you see them marching on? Because a lot of people look at players, a lot of people look at coaches, but one of the most underestimated things when it comes to football is momentum. And you really got to say the momentum's with them at the moment. Yes, they may have dropped points to Salernitana, but at the same time, so did the rest of the league, and it was a get out of jail free card. Do you see this momentum propelling them? They've got no European commitments. They've got the derby, 2 derby fixtures coming up in the Coppa. Do you really see them dropping many points come match day 38?
I think they drop a few points. I don't think they're going to be perfect. I haven't looked at their schedule really to see exactly who they're playing. I got it up now actually. Inter, Napoli, Empoli, Cagliari. Okay, so they have a pretty favorable schedule. Or pretty not easy, but it's easier uh, after Napoli. But they're a good team still at the end of the day. All right, bye. I'll see you later. No, they're a good team at the end of the day, and I think they're going to drop a few points. And like I said, we just have to win everybody who needs to win their games. That's all it really comes down to. I think Milan can. I think they're a good enough team to potentially they might they might win out, drop points with Atalanta, Sassuolo. They might lose in the last couple weeks.
Okay, my final question to you is the Serie A title currently a 3-horse race. Do you really see Juventus overcoming 9 points across the top team?
It's going to be tough, but I don't count them out ever. They're such a weird team. They're not good. This is again one of the worst Juves. I said it last year. I'll say it again this year. It's once again one of the worst Juves I've seen in my life. They're terrible, but um, you can't count them out because they're gonna find ways to win. Whether it's a lucky call, like we all say that they get, but we all get every team gets calls their way. It's not just Juve. Um, like I said, if they win out, if they win the games that they're gonna win, they're right. They're straight up in this because everyone's gonna drop points. Nobody's gonna be perfect. I don't think. Inter's gonna drop points. Milan's definitely going to drop points in the last 2 weeks, so they might bottle in the last 2 weeks. Napoli, again, I think they're the second best team in Italy on their day, and they have a decent schedule to finish it off: Atalanta, Roma, Verona, and Lazio, and Milan, and Fiorentina. It's not like you could say all the schedules are similar. There's 3-4 games where they should be definite wins for every team. And then, of course, there's a Fiorentina where they're good, but they're not like that good. Sassuolo, going to give you a tough time. Roma stinks, but you never know with them because of Mourinho. So it's just, I'm just going to, I sound like a broken record over here, but they, if you win the games that you're gonna that if you just win games, you're gonna win the league. That's all it really comes down to. Like Inter fans, like, oh, who cares? We'll play the subs against Genoa this week. Okay, and what happens when Di Marco has another shitter because he's bad? I think he's terrible, and every time he plays, we leak goals on his side. So okay, play the subs, play the guys that need minutes, sure. And then what? Drop points? Oh no, it's okay. We're gonna beat Juve. We're gonna. What happens when you tie Juve? Now you're down 4 points. You're down 2 points. It's a bad mentality to get mixed in with. And on top of that, we still have Inter still has Champions League, which Inzaghi's not just going to put out a scrub lineup. He's going to put out the best lineup possible because at the end of the day, these professionals. I don't know where people get this idea from. Where just tank it. Who cares? There's money. There's money and jobs on the line. People don't understand because they're not in that position. If they go on and he puts a subs, we lose 6-0 to Liverpool. who's to say he might not get fired?
Yeah,
It's
look,
it's not likely, but it's who's to say
I
like
think the excuse is there for Inzaghi just simply because Conte bottled the Champions League group stage and came last.
yeah
And he's like, well, look what I did it for. I'm going to win the title.
yeah
So Inzaghi did do Inter's best performance since they won the treble. So it is quite interesting on that front. Inter struggling in front of goal. I'm not sure if you've kept up to date, but
God.
Pinamonti at Empoli has been phenomenal. Satriano, I believe he's at Brest in France.
Something like that. Yeah.
One of those teams in France, he's been playing extremely well. Did they make a mistake on loaning these players out, or is this loan what those players need to prove themselves to crack the first team?
This is what they needed. I'm not gonna say we needed Satriano. I'm not gonna say we needed Pinamonte because when they play in the Inter lineup, they're bad. It straight up. They're not good enough. As much as well as they're playing at Empoli, at Brest, at other smaller teams that we loan these players to, and say, oh, Di Marco at wherever the hell he played last year, Biraghi at Fiorentina. There's players where they just fit into the environment. The coach believes in them because he has nobody else to believe in, or this is the player that he envisions is going to bring his side success. So do we need them? No, we don't need them because what's Satriano going to bring that Alexis can't bring? That Caicedo can't bring? Nothing. He's just young, and it's potential. Potential. I could be 6'7" potential, but I'm not. Simple as that. You know. So when people say, "Oh, Esposito was a mistake," this and that, it's not a mistake. These guys can't crack it at the Inter lineup, so we have to send them to find themselves. They learn new things at different clubs, and they're going to get the experience that they need in the first team, the confidence, their egos, whatever, and then they can say, "Hey, I scored 15 goals in the League One, League Two, whatever it is. Give me a shot." Okay, at training, you got to prove yourself. Now, take what you learned from the last coach because every coach is different and every coach gives a different amount of attention to the player depending on what they need. If Satriano is not in Inzaghi's plans, he could say two things. A, I have to develop this guy to be my next striker because I don't have a backup. Sure, could have been the case, but it wasn't because he never played. He played once, twice, whatever it was, and that was it. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but it doesn't seem like there was much stock put into it because they loaned him out right away, and that was it. Pinamonti, the guy had what 2 years at Inter, and I don't even think he scored a goal.
It sort of reminds me of when Conte loaned out Perisic as soon as he got to the club. And he said, go prove yourself, break back into the Inter squad. And he went and he won the treble with Bayern Munich.
Exactly.
Only to come back and win the title with Inter. But a transfer can really change an individual when they're loaned out. There are some Inter players that I get the notification every year on the dot. This player has been loaned out. This player has been loaned out. And they're just there to make up numbers at the end of the day. But you really see these players perform well. And you look back to the likes of Zaniolo, Coutinho, to say a few. If Inter loaned them out and then found their true identity, it could have been a different story. There was a very big, long, dark ages for Inter. And they got Nangolan and paid money and gave them Zaniolo. And I think Roma got the better end of the stick on that front. But I think overall, the Serie A has a lot of catching up to do when it comes to quality. Liverpool played absolutely terribly for 70 odd minutes. And when I say terribly, they didn't concede a goal, but they were looking a shadow of themselves. And then you see them come out and just put two. Their substitutes changed the game. Manchester City, absolutely phenomenal performance against Sporting. They're up 4-0 at half time. You should not be doing this at this level of eliteness when it comes to the Champions League round of 16, it's the best of the best 16 teams across Europe. So a lot has to be answered for. Italy needs to start to become more of a destination for players. And I think you'll start to see that with a couple of decent Champions League performances, which leads me to Juventus face Villarreal. They travel to Spain. Do you see Juventus getting the points in Spain?
I don't think so. How's Villarreal doing right now in the league? They're in sixth place, kind of on form. Won three of the last five at the draw. Um, I think I like Villarreal at home. I think Juve is just a weird sh- shadow of their former selves. They're in a rebuilding kind of phase, so they're bringing in the Vlahovic. They're kind of hoping to get Delict in the future to kind of have a younger core of players. They're putting stock into McKennie. They're bringing in the Chiesa, who's younger-ish, but he's the future. Let's say so. They're in like I think in a year or two, we're going to see a Juve that we respect again. Where they're saying, okay, this is a Juve that can dominate the league again. But for right now, they're in shambles. I don't think they beat Villarreal away. No shot. I don't think the team really has any balls. And Allegri is just kind of like he's just putting gasoline on a dumpster fire at this point. The way it
Oh,
seems.
look, I think the abolition of the away goals rule will really change Juventus's approach to this fixture. Um, so it is one of those things where um, we will get to that, but it's one of those things where you really can't write them off. And the fact that the away goal won't be as crucial, and if they hold them to a nil or a 1-1, they're playing at home, they can then try and dominate.
Yeah.
But I just think Juventus, they've got the pedigree to perform. I just think they need to work out how to put this jigsaw puzzle together. The 4_mankind has sent us a message. Don't know who you are, but I just wanted to let you know that you are loved and I am proud of you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the kind words of love and support. That is for sure. Coming in on our Twitch, so it's good to see some of our viewers on Twitch there. But Villarreal, I don't know if you are up to date with the Spanish League at all, but that's where I am going to be heading briefly because since the last time European Weekly Catch Up aired, which was December-ish, there has been a lot that has happened. Barcelona at the time were in 9th place. They are now in 4th. Real Madrid are just dropping points left, right, and center. They did come up with a win, I believe, a 3-0 win against the lowly Deportivo, who are coming in 19th at the time, well, currently. But Alaves, exactly. So it's an interesting lineup when it comes to Spain because it isn't the traditional season we are used to. How do you see these teams lining up for Champions League? Because in my opinion, it's Real, Barca, Sevilla, Atletico. I just feel the pedigree and their persistence will keep them there. But at the same time, you've got Real Betis, Villarreal, and everyone else on their tails. Do you really see this? Do you see one of these Galacticos in Spain really missing out on Champions League?
No, I think they figure it out. They're down 4 points from Atletico. I'm talking about Atletico's down 4 points from Betis. Betis is in Europa League still. They beat Zenit 3-2. They've been an interesting team to follow because I started betting on soccer a little more because it's legal finally. So now I have to follow it. And Betis has been a team that they've turned heads, and I think they put together a team that's actually competitive. Real Madrid, I think, clear front runners. Sevilla second place, I think that's pretty standard. Seeing how Barcelona, Atletico have dropped off. Sevilla's always consistent, um, especially in Europa League. They're always a powerhouse. I think
Just
Barcelona makes a late push for that second place spot though, because I've started watching a few of their games again. They look good. They
we
actually
will
look
get to
like
Barcelona, but I'll just throw you
yeah,
this stat about Betis. In their last 11 fixtures, they've drawn one, lost one, and won nine.
yeah.
And some of the names in that nine are Sevilla, Real Betis, Real Sociedad. Sorry, their loss was to Villarreal, but they are putting the teams away, and they're not 1-0 wins. 4-0, 2-1, 4-0, 4-1. They're getting goals.
Yep.
They're doing really well. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them maintain that. But let's move to Barcelona. They had a phenomenal fixture on the weekend where they beat Valencia 4-1. But I think the talking point of this fixture is Aubameyang. 3 goals, hat trick.
The resurgence of a forgotten player. Good for him. I mean, he's always had talent, and I guess going to Arsenal just takes it away. So good for him.
I think Arsenal just wasn't the fit for him. There was too
Doesn't for
much
anybody.
controversy with him. Didn't suit his play style. We saw how great he was at Dortmund.
Hmm.
And I just think, he's a player that has so much potential and you really start to see it. And for him to come out and score 3 goals, a hat trick, and a 4-1 win in what is a supposedly struggling Barcelona, it's really something you want to see. And it's really something you really looking out for. So I think, it's going to be an interesting run home for the La Liga. I just think it's going to be quite competitive, and it's something we're really going to want to say. Senja Hussein, since his golden boot of Arsenal, the club let him down from there, and I really got to say, I do say that. I think he had that phenomenal season, and he's just dropped off. I think Xavi's getting the best out of him. I think he's getting the best out of that whole team. To be
Yep.
honest, they have a lot of respect for him there, and in the city of Barcelona, they idolize him. So when you're playing for someone you respect, it's a completely different ballgame.
They've also been missing a forward for the first half of the season, from what I understand, because I follow them loosely. All my friends follow Barcelona, Real Madrid, a lot of them. So I follow in passing. I see the Instagram stories, the highlights, whatever, and they had a big problem up front, and Aubameyang completes that. I really do think that now that they have that final piece that they've been missing, they they can make a push for Europa League against Napoli. They can make a push for second, third place in the league, especially second place. They're down. It's a decent number. They're down 9 points with a game in hand, but
Against Sevilla.
Sevilla. So you beat Sevilla, that closes the gap immediately. And Sevilla's actually been really bad lately, drawing left and right with a win in the last five. So that looks up for Barcelona, it looks up for Betis, it looks up for Atletico. So I think Barcelona for the rest of the year is going to be exciting to watch. And I don't like Barcelona whatsoever. I freaking hate them. But I respect the hell out of them because they're always a club that they play the right way, and no matter how much you hate them, you say they they're good. At the end of the day, you hate how good they are, pretty much. And
Yeah.
and going forward, once they get rid of the older players, the new influx, I think they're very promising.
Yeah, and look, Senja hit the nail on the head. The pay hasn't been the one. They got Luc de
Nope.
Jong, they got Ferran Torres, and now Aubameyang. By also forgetting that, also invested their time and money into Aguero, who was forced to retire after heart problems. So they have been unlucky. But they also were shocked and unstable on transfer deadline day where Messi signs for a different team where the whole team was based around the player.
Yeah.
And that's what you have when you have these giant teams playing the way they have been. But I think we'll talk more about that. I know you're a betting man, so the team we're going to cover next would have upset you if you followed them. We've now moved to the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich in the Champions League, dropping points to Salzburg. 1-1 draw there, which was a surprise to many because a lot of people said Bayern Munich are one of the teams that guaranteed a win into the next round straight off the bat because of their sheer pedigree. But then you go back to their previous fixture before that, and they were down 4-1 at halftime against Bochum, and they lost that fixture finally 4-2. They rebounded this weekend, beating Gutha Fürth 4-1.
They were losing 1-0.
Pardon?
They were losing that game 1-0 into halftime.
Yeah, they were at halftime 1-0. And it's just one of those things where without Lewandowski, they really struggle. He scores a lot of goals. It's as simple as that. Like, you can't go past how much Lewandowski scores for this team. Like, it is actually phenomenal. And he's a fantastic fit at Barcelona. He scored 28 goals in 23 matches in the Bundesliga so far this season. Sanja coming in with the comments again. Bayern Munich, we have to talk about this weird tactic. No more Davies, and all of a sudden he plays 5 attackers. Now, have Bayern Munich, they did really well in the transfer market, in the preseason transfer market. Is this just whatever? Whatever. Like, we've got the league. We don't have to worry. We've got Champions League. We don't have to worry. Like, if we look at the table, they are 6 points ahead of Dortmund, who are coming off a 6-0 win against Mönchengladbach. So is Bayern Munich at the point where it's like, oh, we don't... It's like when you go into your final exam and you've already passed the unit. I don't really have to try. Doesn't matter if I fail. Is this Bayern Munich we're seeing at the moment?
It's a mess around. He's just trying to see like what crazy kind of tactic he can probably just implement again. Possibly like a losing game against Manchester City. He's like, if I throw 5 forwards and, Lewandowski is able to hold the ball, what's going to happen after that? Where's Tolisso going to be? How's the shape of the team with everybody going forward? It's almost like what's that tactic that the Dutch national team used to do, where everybody would just follow the ball, like the super gegenpress or whatever the hell it was, total pressure or whatever the hell it was.
I call it the bird migration because it's like a V of players just all advancing.
I used to do that in FIFA. In FIFA like 12, I used to mess around and I used to play 3-2-5, Messi in goal, and just play like backwards formations. I'd mess around because I was like, I know I'm going to win this game and I don't care. So that's what it seems like. I mean, if you're playing against, they were literally playing against the last place team doing this. So who cares? This Firth team, I never heard of them before. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, hey, fuck it. Whatever happens. Play a long ball to Lewandowski. See if he can score a bicycle. Maybe he scores 2.
I think that's basically, in my opinion, it's the trait of a great manager where they can experiment because, one, they were 6 points ahead of the league, and Dortmund dropped points the same week they dropped points, and they both lost. But he's experimenting, he's trying, and it's exactly to your point where we're up against a Man City and they're down 1-0 with 5 minutes to go in a Champions League final. How can we get this across the line? How can we throw something at them that it's like
they've never seen before?
Where did this come from? I think it was the last World Cup Italy played in, I think it was Brazil. They were facing England, and when they put the match formation. It was, I think it was 3-3, and then
4.
on the left-hand side were the rest of the players, where the right-hand side was completely empty. And it was like, when I saw that, I got confused.
Yeah.
Imagine getting on the field and looking, what the hell's happening here? I don't know what to do.
Especially
So,
when you're a manager like Pep Guardiola, where every little detail is studied and it's analyzed, and it's like OCD, where it's like, okay, they're gonna play a 4-3-3. Okay, Nabi's gonna play on the right, Coleman's gonna play on the left, Lewandowski. This is what we're gonna do here. We're gonna do this. You know, it's a whole system. And then once he sees something out of place, what are we doing? They're playing with 3 forward. It's Bayern Munich here.
he gets
He
flustered.
starts to get flustered, and then okay, he's like, all right, well, like Sterling. Do I play Sterling? I don't play Sterling. I play Sterling. I don't play Sterling. And then he starts to think.
Foden? Does
Sterling,
Foden come in?
Foden's right-footed. No, he's left-footed. No, he's right-footed. No. I'm gonna start Lukaku. Lukaku's not on my team. It like
Harry Kane.
breaks his
Where are
brain. It's gonna break him. So that's probably what it is. Honestly, it's just like a last-ditch kind of attempt to, because they need to win Champions League at this point. They've won it in the past, finally, but it's one of those things where they've won everything in Germany. They have to assert European dominance, world dominance sort of thing. So they have to figure out new ways to win. They can't, what they're doing works to an extent. What else works? What's the future even? What are the next managers going to be teaching their teams? You know, we've seen tactics change left and right. 4-3-3 was used for like what, 10, 15 years from 90% of the teams. Then Antonio Conte comes, play 3-5-2, 3-4-3. Gets to the final of the World Cup of the Euros. Implements it at Chelsea, Inter, Juve. Everywhere he goes, there's a 3-5-2, and they say, "Wow, Conte is a good manager." Italy's got some good things going on. Now English teams have to adapt. What are they going to do? 3 in the back, 5 in the back. So it's a little forward thinking from Bayern Munich, and they're pioneers. I'd say that they're always looking to reinvent the game, the training, and all that. So definitely the angle that I'm going to say that they're caking.
Well, your comment really throws me back to, it started in 2008, the Spain dynasty, when they won the Euros. Then they went to win the World Cup, and then they went to win the Euros again. And it wasn't until 8 years later, or 4 years later, so from the span of 2008 to 2012, where teams started to figure out, that's how they play, and this is how we fix it up. And once they did, Spain declined. And yeah, they lost some great players, but at the same time, they were found out.
They couldn't recreate it.
That they stuck to what worked for them, while the rest of the world evolved. And you see that, and that's why Real Madrid was so dominant. Yes, they had a fantastic team, but they were constantly innovative. They constantly changed and they adapted. Sancho coming in again. Dortmund can take advantage of Bayern having Goretzka and Davis injured. They beat Gladbach 6-0 and Leipzig beat Berlin 6-1. Bundesliga's top 4 race getting a bit competitive now. Lashton, Papworth, football is always cyclical, it seems. That is a comment that I would love to keep there for a second, because that's where you get these fantastic managers. Pep did well at Barcelona. He did well at Bayern Munich. He's doing well at Manchester City. And for you to be successful, and you only see it in a handful of managers across different leagues, it takes a great mind. Yes, he's had money. Yes, he's had players. But as a manager, you got to adapt. La Liga and the Bundesliga, 2 different leagues. And then you throw in the Premier League, that's something completely different. And I can only pretty much name him and Mourinho. That's all I can really think of where they've adapted across different leagues and been successful. But it's when that cycle is going to change. If you're on one of the first teams on that ball, well, you're going to have the advantage for some time. That's how I see it.
I think this is a very important comment as well. It's not just dating back to Mourinho and Guardiola. If I was reading this book, Inverting the Pyramid, Inverting the Pyramid. It's called. I think it might be a little bit of a popular book or in the soccer community, but for people that like find interest in the history and the tactics side and analysis, it gives you a whole blueprint of how soccer has evolved from the first World Cups to it was about like 2010, I want to say 2006 ish, and all these tactics that we see now, they're not new. Nothing's really new. It's all recycled, but uh, recreated. So the three in the back, the five in the front. Bayern Munich isn't the first team to just say, "Hey, we're going to put five forwards and make it work." No, it's been studied and it's been used in I want to say like the 50s and 60s. It was really popular or earlier maybe where it's not like they just said, "Hey, go play 5-3-2 and good luck." There was a whole system to it, and they break down the manager's tactics, the process, and some of them even got interviewed in some instances, and they were like, I don't want to give like an exact kind of bullshit, so but I just do remember reading that these were big formations, the three in the back, the five in the front. They were huge formations for a certain period of time that coaches now will look back and say, hey, the Hungarian team that caused all the problems in the World Cups from whatever year they were dominant, or Eastern Germany, Western Germany. Why was it so important for soccer at the time? What did the defense do wrong that they couldn't handle the five forwards? You know, you know, because it wasn't like 4-3-3 was normal. Everybody played a different style, and everybody tried to adapt and find their own ideas. So, like we said, it's all recycled. So it's been done. It's been trained. It's worked in most cases. So cyclical is a very very good definition of how soccer is, and
So, what was the title of the book?
inverting the pyramid.
Inverting the Pyramid, Lushton. That is the name of the book. And I like that point that you made of five at the front. And a lot of managers will look back and be like, oh, five at the front worked in the 50s because the offside rule wasn't in existence. So
Mm-hmm.
you could have five all the way at the front and not get penalized. But now it's to the mind of how can I put five at the front and stay on side? Because if someone puts five at the front, you're overwhelming the defense without even trying.
There's one
So,
extra guy, two extra
yeah,
guys.
exactly. So it's like, all right, let's see how we do it. And I think it was, I don't know if it was over the last 2 weeks, we've seen two goalkeeper assists, one in the Serie A for AC Milan. There was a goalkeeper assist, and the other one, I believe, may have been Allison for Liverpool. And it just shows playing from the back isn't always going to work. Whereas the long ball over the top catches teams off guard because they're expecting you. All right, you can put players in your own players in the box for a goal kick, so you can tiki taka all the way up. But it doesn't mean you're going to do that. And now teams are like, we need to focus on those players because if they work their way to the front, it's going to change. Long ball over the top catches everyone off guard. There you go. But I love that analysis you provided. I think we should do we should get you on and have your own segment where you talk about a breakdown and analysis, Mario's breakdown or something like that. We'll come up with something, but I do really like where that came from. Now let's move to the final league, one which has grown so much in the last 12 to 18 months. The League One. I don't know how much is there much to say. PSG, yeah, they lost 3-1. Neymar took the penalty because Messi missed the penalty in the Champions League. Yada yada yada. But you look at it, well, they lost 3-1, but Mario, PSG are currently 13 points ahead of second place Marseille. So, is there lack of motivation within this squad when it comes to domestic, especially after being so strong against Real Madrid and only walking away 1-0 victors? Were they just gassed, or was it just meh? We don't care. All right, 13 points, 16 drops to 13 points. What can you do?
I don't know. They're in a weird team because as good as they can be, as good as their players are, they don't perform like they should. When you have Neymar, Messi, it's almost like there's too many hands to feed. And this was something that I worried about at Barcelona when Messi, Neymar, Luis Suarez, Xavi, Iniesta were all on the same field. I was like, okay, all great
Something's going to
players.
give.
What's going to be the focal point? Is Neymar going to take the lead? Is Messi going to take the lead? Suarez, how is he going to, find goals in this lineup? They made it work. Guardiola made it work. And PSG now has that where they have the plethora of strikers and midfielders. Even the defense is stacked. They have a full 11 players, 12 if you want to go to Donnarumma as a backup, and say, you're the best players around. Go win. How are we going to win? Verratti pulls the strings. Uh, Messi, I haven't watched much of PSG this year. I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does in this team.
I just feel when I watch Messi play in a PSG jersey, he looks he looks brokenhearted. He looks like that kid that was last to be picked for the team, and he misses his Barcelona. I just feel he went to PSG because you know what, at his age, to make that money, it's the best thing for him, and no one else was really going to offer him a contract. But he just really they've been disappointing, and Lashton hits the nail on the head. Excited to watch Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, but now they've been a bit disappointing. And then you get Di Maria, Icardi, and whoever else, and they perform just as good as the main team because the pedigree's there. And we're yet to see Ramos play full strength. But I've got two questions. One, Pochettino, does he survive into next season?
No, I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he knows.
I
I don't think he knows how to manage a team, especially of this caliber, because it's it's harder than people think to just have 11 superstars and win games. Like the Ancelottis, the whoever was coaching Real Madrid when they were Galacticos and they were the freaking best team and untouchable. Those are the managers that they know what they're doing because they're able to get everybody on the same page. It's not easy to get superstars with egos and to play a certain way. And everybody's got a different style. Everybody's got their own idea to play the same way. It's not that easy, especially as good as they are, because everyone they're all smart players. They're unbelievably talented, and they read the game on a different level that you, even good players can't comprehend what the hell is going on in their head because it's they see things 6, 7, 8 steps ahead, and they just everything they do is just perfect, calculated, and has purpose. So when you have that many different ideologies on the field, it clashes. Neymar, excellent at breaking down a defense, getting into attacking positions. Mbappe, same thing. Manipulates defenders, gets into attacking positions, scores goals. Messi, breaks down defender, manipulates, goals. So you have all these players that are similar on different areas of the field, but how do you get them to play together and get each to support each other the right ways? Like Messi makes a run a certain way. He gets the ball, he beats his defender, gives the ball 1-2, and tries to score. That's usually what he does more often than not, or magic by himself. Mbappe beats his players on speed, likes the through balls. Neymar likes to take his time, beat the defender, take an extra touch if he has to, get into a dangerous position, passing's not the first option for him. So you have all these different kind of things. He's going to look to score by cutting in, by dribbling 4 or 5 guys if he has to. If he has to, not saying that he does, or he'll just take a shot from 25 yards out and it goes in. How do you get all these players to play together? And then you have Di Maria, who's always looking to find a pass, beat his defender. You have to put them on the same page. And Pochettino's the last person in my mind that can do that. He couldn't do it at Tottenham. He couldn't do it wherever the hell he was before. I don't think he's going to do it with this team. I don't think he's going to figure out how Messi, the best player of our generation, can make this team better. He hasn't figured out. He found a way to make Messi make the team worse.
Yeah, look, I just think I was extremely surprised when a team of the caliber of PSG got Pochettino. He hasn't won anything. Okay, he got Tottenham to a Champions League final. A lot of the competition on their side was eliminated by other teams, Ajax more specifically. And then he got them to a Champions League final. He bottled a Premier League title when it came to Leicester achieving greatness that season. He has not achieved anything. For him to take the reins of PSG,
he couldn't even keep Eriksen at the team.
No, I just think it was something that was like, how was that possible? How did he get that? But at the same time, you look at Tuchel, he got PSG to a Champions League final, which they lost to Bayern Munich, I believe. And then he gets Chelsea to the Champions League final and wins it. And it just shows tactically he knows what he's doing. But I just think PSG, they don't need a manager. They don't need a coach. They need a leader. They need someone to assert dominance and say, look, I'm the boss here. Not you, not Neymar, not Messi, not Verratti, not Ramos, not Donnarumma, not Hakimi. So I'm the boss. Listen and do this. That's how I say it.
Would you think Conte would be a good fit for them?
I think the best possible fit would be Zidane. Yeah. He wants to coach the national team. What better way to coach the national team than to coach the capital of France and then make his way there? I think the respect is there because as a player, he was amazing. As a manager, he achieved Champions League greatness multiple times. He's got the respect. Conte, I feel, Conte's great of bringing in 1 or 2 good players and transforming the team around them. I just don't think he can. I just think Neymar will run rings around Conte.
I think Conte going to PSG is a disaster that actually breaks up the team, if anything.
Yeah, I say that. And Conte and Icardi, we know the blood there. But yeah, Lashton, he had 2 good seasons with Spurs, but besides that, a middle of the table manager in my mind. That's exactly how I see it. The same goes, in my opinion, for Ole Gunnar for United. He's never a league leader, but mid-table team, I think he'd do great things. And look at David Moyes. Took over Alex Ferguson, and look what he's doing with the teams. Where's he at? West Ham.
Does he still manage?
Yeah, West Ham.
Oh, he's at West Ham?
I'm pretty sure. Now you got me thinking. I don't know if it's West Ham, West Brom. One of the Westings. Now let me check. Stats, transfer. David Moyes, yeah, manager of West Ham.
Okay.
So, no, I knew he was managing. He's currently 5th in the Premier League. He's doing well. Can't complain. But yes, thank you, Lashton. Also confirming that. Pochettino's more of a yes man. Let's not forget the director, Leonardo. PSG fans don't like him, despite him bringing in players. Look, do they make Champions League final? I don't think so. Do they win the league? Yes, because the rest of the league isn't that great.
They can't compete. I mean, it's hard to compete with a team like PSG. As good as the other teams may be, because they're not terrible teams. I think there's some quality in Marseille, Monaco, Lyon. These are historically good teams that I don't know what the hell's going on with them right now, where Lyon's 8th place, Monaco's 6th place, Lille 11th place. I don't follow enough to know what the hell's going on there, but historically, aside from Lille, they're strong teams where if you put them up against other non-powerhouse teams, they hold their own. They give a good game. They might take a point or two um, in the group stage. They might not upset, but it's just there's just so much money. There's so many superstars that even if they play like shit against the next best teams, they're still gonna come out on top no matter what because they're good enough to just win. Their team is hungry enough and they know what it's like to be better than the next best teams. They all played at that next level where Champions League finals, World Cups, all that stuff. So it's not like they're a bunch of losers that are just like paid a lot. They're good players.
Yeah. Look, before we wrap it up, I'm going to throw to you. I want 4 predictions here. Champions League is kicking off in approximately 13 hours from now. Chelsea take on Lille. What's the outcome there?
Chelsea smash them
Score?
3-0.
Lukaku score?
No.
Villarreal Juventus?
I could see Villarreal winning like a 2-1.
I say 1-1, maybe.
Yeah.
I just say 1-1 or potentially 1-0 Juventus, as much as it pains me to say that. And 24 hours after that, Atletico Manchester United.
That's a weird one.
In my opinion, this was the game of the round.
I think they go 2-2.
I see a draw. I see a Ronaldo 95th minute penalty. I see anything possible in this fixture. The other one that I can't predict here is Benfica Ajax.
I think Ajax.
Ajax. I do see
3-2
Ajax.
Ajax. 3-2 Ajax.
I see 1-0 Ajax. I just think people underestimate Ajax when it comes to Champions League knockout stages.
Mm-hmm.
They are one of the best teams when it comes to this type of pressure, and a lot of their players are looking to move elsewhere. So it will be interesting to see how they perform. But you heard it here first. Mario's predictions. He's a betting man. He's got Chelsea, Villarreal, draw for the Atletico Manchester game, and the Ajax to win. So, guys, Mario, thank you for jumping in.
Of course. I would have come on sooner.
Well, Anthony had a medical emergency with his dog, so he took off. So I had to jump in and do it, and I'm glad I had a partner in crime today.
Of course. Anytime, reach out, please.
I will definitely. What time is it there now?
2:00 in the morning. I'm up, so
I will be doing them earlier. It was just this was a time that suited Anthony as well. But guys, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You will catch myself, Mario, across Football Worldwide and interworldwide platforms. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Ciao.
bye-bye.